And there you go. We're live.
Thanks, Tom. Morning, everybody, and good evening from anybody over in America. My name's Ian Kingwell, and I think most people know me. Really fortunate this morning to have my good friend from America in Jacksonville, Florida, Tom Signorello. Met Tom some 3 or 4 years ago at a convention in Las Vegas, and we formed a great friendship. And from that time, we've actually learned that we're both very passionate about LinkedIn. And Tom's going to give us a little presentation this morning and explain how he uses LinkedIn and some tips and hints for you guys. And he's not just an expert, I'll call him an expert on LinkedIn, he's also very knowledgeable on things like Twitter as well. So without further ado, thanks Tom, take it away, mate.
Well, Ian, thank you very much. And let me go ahead and take a look. If you would just jump on your go-to meeting, if you just raise your hand for asking a question or something. I just want to do a quick sound check, make sure everybody down under can hear me okay. All right. It's looking like everybody's chiming in. It's looking like you can hear me just fine. Thanks very much. And if you would do me a small favor, turn off the cell phones and turn off the emails for maybe the next 25 minutes. We're going to fill your morning or evening, depending on what part of the globe you're in, with some really good content. And yeah, well, we'll go ahead and we'll just kind of take it away. And thank you, Ian. Thank you for those kind words. I really do appreciate what you have to say, and I really do appreciate you and our friendship. I'm going to actually jump on over to my LinkedIn account and talk about a couple of things, because what I do, I'm a professional networker. I network all around the U.S., Canada, Australia, and around the world. And you know, with social media exploding the way it is, it's almost too easy to make new friends everywhere we go. You know, for folks that are trying to run businesses like real estate professionals or mortgage professionals, you know, a lot of them start out in business and they go, gosh, I can't do this. I talked to everybody I know and they both said no. Well, with the social media sites like just the big three, like Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, it's absolutely mind-boggling to think of the ways to be able to connect and interact with people. But a lot of folks really don't know the social etiquette or the correct way to go about doing certain things. So I like to break it down and make it very simple for folks. So if you grab a piece of paper and a pencil, hopefully I've got a pearl of wisdom or two here and there that'll help you and that'll make you say, aha, I never really thought about it that way. But let me back up and tell you how I first started getting going with LinkedIn, and it's actually, I was doing a lot of face-to-face networking. I was going to Chamber of Commerce meetings and having coffee appointments with people, and you know, I was doing very well that way, and I was growing my business via word of mouth, but by building relationships one at a time. And that was great right up until I had a slight neck injury. And I got a pinched nerve in my neck that actually caused the right side of my face to become paralyzed for about 6 months. And it was very scary when it happened. I didn't know what was going on. They later diagnosed it just simply as a pinched nerve, and that it eased itself up. It's almost totally cleared up, and that was 2 years ago. I'm 99% healed now. The problem was when I was doing that, many people were actually thinking that I had had a stroke. It was that severe that my right eye drooped and the right side of my lips, I couldn't talk without slurring and different things. It was a very frightening thing. The problem with people who think you had a stroke is they don't tell you they're sorry that you're going through what you're doing. They tell other people. And the last thing I needed was to be growing a word-of-mouth business when other people thought I was literally dying. I actually got a sympathy card from somebody who thought I had passed. So I had to actually stop going out and doing live networking. And that was really tricky. And then I figured I better figure out how to do some things online or my business was going to just perish. And you know, I was doing all kinds of different things to take a look at lead generation services and different things, but I had to watch my money. I wanted to be careful and wanted to be smart. And then I came across some tutorials for LinkedIn, and I went ahead and bought them because it really made sense. And for those of you, and please pardon me, I always talk to folks because I have many different people who jump on webinars, all the way from people who are beginners and novices, all the way on up to LinkedIn experts. So please, if I'm downplaying this and talking below a level, please accept my sincere apology. But I always want to make sure that I'm talking to folks as if they're looking at this for a first time and trying to figure out and understand how to use LinkedIn. Um, the three main sites, I like to tell people that Twitter is like going to a bar or a cocktail lounge. Facebook is like having a patio picnic in your backyard, and then LinkedIn is like a Chamber of Commerce meeting on steroids. And so if you think about that, whenever you're trying to do certain things, for example, over on Twitter, people may want to have short, quick interactions, but they don't want to get involved in a whole lot of in-depth conversations. They'd like to exchange a business card and say, hey, give me a call on Monday. Let's have a coffee or something. That's basically how you want to use Twitter. And I've got a free gift for people later on. For those of you who stick around to the end of the presentation, I'm going to give you some really cool freebie at the end. Okay, the Facebook side of things, a lot of people have Facebook, but again, a lot of people try to use it for business, but they make the classic mistake of talking about business. For example, if you have a patio picnic in the backyard and all of a sudden you pull out the easel and you start doing a presentation right there, most people will want to say, well, g'day, mate, I got to go. I got to run and take care of something else. And they'll quickly leave your party and they won't want to come back. LinkedIn is totally different. And for those folks who do enjoy going to Chamber of Commerce meetings, this is where business is totally appropriate to discuss, not only ideas, but possible solutions and ways to collaborate and different things. And this is where this really flows very nicely on LinkedIn. People, when they're trying to do things, on a personal level or too intimate too quickly, that actually turns people off at LinkedIn. So, I like to say to folks, if you would do it at a Chamber of Commerce meeting, it's totally acceptable to do it on LinkedIn. Now, the other thing that I like to share with people is that I met my current wife. I've been married a second time now, and I've been with my bride for 4 years now, a beautiful, lovely lady named Hadley. But I met her via social media. Actually, I went online and we courted and we dated, but I didn't ask her to marry me on the first email, and I didn't ask her to, be my permanent girl on the first phone call. It took time to send a couple of email messages, then eventually phone calls, then to be able to maybe have a dinner date, a get together, very light, and again, easing into that relationship. I teach people that with LinkedIn, it's very similar. You can't just send your first spammy email of, take a look at my website, I want you to join me, or, buy my products, or, whatever. You have to give value first, and it's almost like asking a person to marry you. And so having the different mindset going into like a LinkedIn account really helps. So I'm going to go through a couple of things of what I recommend to people on LinkedIn. And if you notice up here in my headline, I actually write in the top area. This is kind of like a Twitter thing where you can have maybe 130 characters. These are keywords and buzzwords that when I have people looking at my profile, I want them to be intrigued. I want them to look at this type of thing and to be able to say, wow, that's interesting. I want to read more. For example, somebody stands up for a 30 to 60-second infomercial during a Chamber of Commerce meeting, and they say a couple of buzzwords to make somebody want to exchange business cards at the end of the meeting. That's all this headline here is used to do. Okay, I'm just asking them to take a look and scroll down here into the summary. And in the summary, I keep it short, and I am not looking to sell anything or do anything. I am simply looking to show people how I provide value, how I help them solve issues that they are having. I utilize sentences that they're called pain sentences, P-A-I-N. And so if people are looking, in my case, I'm looking for folks who want to have relationships, more business and referrals, and make more money. And when I say it that way, you would think that, that's a lot of people. But there are other folks out there that, they're very happy being hunters and not farmers. I'm looking for farmers. I'm looking for those people who want to build and nurture relationships. Those are good people for me to be working with. And then I come right in and I just have that little sentence that I might have a solution for them. And then I explain a couple of different things, but I don't go into any big long pitch or anything. I just simply want them to think about call or message me today. There's my call to action. And then I just simply watch my inbox fill up. Okay. And from there, that's just on the profile side of things. I can take a look at not only messages, but I can take a look at invitations. These are invitations that came in. If we take a look today. Am I saying that right, Ian? Today? Is that how you say it down under? Anyway, I think you muted yourself, but that's okay. But you can see I have ongoing lead generation that is happening constantly, and this is free marketing of where I can wind up attracting different people. And if you look up here at the top right where my cursor is, 8,236 connections, and I'm adding probably, oh goodness, maybe, I don't know, 10, 12 connections a day. And then I use the tagging feature. Like last week was March 3rd, and I had 21 people come in last week, and it was a slow week for me. And again, it was more things that I do to be able to drive traffic to get people to come on over to LinkedIn, and I use it as a personal branding page where they can find out more about me. I'm not branding any company, or if people are networkers, I always recommend brand yourself and not your company. The reason is your company, we'd like to think your company is always going to be there, but it may not. If you're tied to that company and it winds up going away, well, then you've got to start all over. Whereas if you're branding yourself as a thought leader and that type of person, again, to be able to add value and give value to other people. They can wind up endorsing you and doing things, and this is really cool. A lot of folks go, well, what's this with the endorsements? When I can click on the endorsements page, and pardon me for the internet being a little slow there, that actually pulls up a whole list of different people that are endorsing, but they also are prospects for possibly looking at wanting to do business. When I look at this to me is what I call a buy signal. This actually tells me to do something to reach out for either a coffee appointment or what I like to call a virtual coffee appointment, just setting up a time to be able to have a one-to-one. For example, when you go to a Chamber of Commerce meeting and you meet someone, a lot of times people will say, wow, you're pretty interesting. Would you like to get together and have a coffee? LinkedIn is virtually the same type of thing. You want to ask people to have a coffee, but you have to go just a little bit slower. Remember we were talking about how I met my wife? People are a little guarded when it comes to meeting strangers online. So it might need an email or two. It might need giving away a free ebook or something of value, doing things to be able to build a relationship and trust first before asking for an appointment. Okay, and then down underneath you can have ways to contact you, email address, recommendations. People have sent me recommendations, and even better than the written testimony, the endorsements that people have are the written testimonials. Whenever people, like my good friend Rick Llewellyn, he's a tremendous mortgage professional up in Michigan. I really enjoy our friendship, and he is a great thought leader. He was nice enough to go on in and write a very nice testimonial for me. I will actually go out and write testimonials for people, and I recommend that you do that. Maybe make a list right now. Take like 3 people that you think are really good potential business partners or business contacts, or somebody who would write a recommendation for you unsolicited. Because that's the key. If you write a recommendation for somebody and do not ask them to write one in return, almost 90% of the time, a good connection will go ahead and reply in kind, and they will be happy to write a recommendation for you. I do that occasionally. I don't like to fill it up too much because then, I like to keep just a handful of those on my profile, some very good connections. So take that under advisement. Okay. One of the big mistakes that many people make is they do not put their contact info in where you can list it. And you can see where I'm dropping down right here. I have my cell number. I have my email address. I also have my Twitter account already clicked right here, and I have it there so people can see where Twitter is. And I use Twitter very effectively to manage and move people between the 3 social media accounts. Uh, we can get into a whole lot of stuff, but again, I want to keep this focused on LinkedIn. But there are certain strategies you can use with all of the different social media sites to be able to build, maintain, and enhance relationships. If you notice where it says websites, a lot of people do not have a website, or if they do, it says website or blog. It doesn't have anything. What I recommend people do is actually write something with a call to action to it. Like right here, I've got something that says visit thomassignorello.com. When they go and see that, it actually makes them want to click on it, and then from there, it opens up because you can go and put a hot link in that takes right to another page. The cool thing about having a page like this is I've got all my social media sites all tied right in here, my blog, all kinds of cool things. So it's, again, more ways for me to be able to attract people, and whenever I have them following me on cross social media sites, these are very intriguing people. They want to get to know me more. I want to reach out and more than share an email, I may want to go onto their website and check out their contact info. I may want to go ahead and pick up the phone and actually call them and welcome them. I may want to send them a personalized email, or even write a handwritten card, or utilize a service if you have one to be able to send greeting cards. All kinds of different ways to be able to tell folks, I see you and I respect you and I want to find out more about you. Even if 9 out of 10 people do not want to take that relationship to the next level, out of 8,300 people I have on here, that's a lot of folks that want to go to the next level if I just use the 10% rule. And then from there, that 10% will wean itself on down. Maybe I'm supposed to buy something that they have. Maybe I'm supposed to refer them. Maybe it's vice versa. Or maybe it's more. Who knows? But this, I hope you're starting to see, this is a way to be able to use LinkedIn. Okay? And sorry, I should have turned the ringer down on my own phone. Sorry about that. Anyway, again, I can go and utilize the network. I can use the tagging feature. I'm not going to get into all that, but groups is another really neat way to target prospects. For example, I'm a member of the Clay County Chamber of Commerce, but AFLAC right here in the United States, this is a group that I'm a member of, and there are wonderful professionals all in through the AFLAC group, and it's taking the time to go ahead and load up. But what you can do is join up to 50 groups, and right now there was just a little unexpected problem with that. So, again, let's take a look at, say, the Caldwell Bankers for Real Estate here in Florida. This pulls up this great list, and I can go ahead and share maybe my blog content on here. And whenever I have people clicking like or making comments on that, that's a really neat way to just click on something and be able to start the relationship building process. There's a couple of things, and you may want to note here. If you click on the members area in a group that you belong to, what this will do is bring up the members list, and I can type in keywords like, for example, Caldwell Banker Real Estate Florida. And maybe I want to type in my home city of Jacksonville, okay? And I click search. What this will do is pull up all of the people that are in Jacksonville, and there's 18 folks there, and I've started reaching out to them, and if you notice, the first 5, they're already now connections for me. I just started doing this strategy recently. Leslie Reiser, I've sent her a connection request, and there are other folks. They could be on holiday, they could be away, and they just haven't responded. Maybe they looked at my profile and they're not interested in getting to know me. I don't know why, but hey, to each his own. But from there, I can just simply click the connect button, and it won't do it right now, but there are ways then to just go ahead and send them a message. Now, what I recommend is you don't just send a message to connect without personally writing a little brief message. Like I could say to Jeff, I just looked at your profile recently. I am looking to expand services down into Miami, and I was reading over something that is very intriguing, like you're into foreign, national, and FHA residential mortgages. Whatever. Say something personal that says, I would like to connect with you, and you have a much better than average chance of those folks accepting those connection requests. So again, you can use targeted keywords to be able to search out and find people. Maybe real estate agents are great for you to meet in the Sydney area, or maybe you want to go and find mortgage professionals in Melbourne. This is a really neat way to go about doing that. I see we're at the 7:21 mark. Let me go ahead and jump onto my PowerPoint presentation. I'm just going to take you through because, excuse me, we could go into a big long thing with LinkedIn, and there's just not enough time to go about doing that. Again, sorry, excuse me. But what I like to do is just show folks that using LinkedIn to be able to have more business and relationships. Now, have you ever heard the saying, take someone fishing, you fed them for a day, you teach them how to fish, and you fed them for life? Well, let's learn how to fish using LinkedIn. Now, on LinkedIn, how do you market yourself on LinkedIn? And what if you have little or no budget to go about doing things? Well, LinkedIn can be the perfect marketing tool for small businesses and independent professionals if you know what you are doing. Okay. Now, most people waste their time on LinkedIn just browsing and sending out odd connection requests, but there is so much more you can do with it. Now, I'm going to show you how. Just like I showed you on some of those demos, well, you can learn how to attract high-quality clients and be found by recruiters or potential business partners, boost your personal brand while forming these types of relationships. Okay, so let's get started. Okay. And come on, there we go. Now, 82% of businesses are attempting to use some form of social media for their businesses and their marketing. All right, and these sites are some of the top 25 most visited sites in the world. All right, but the big elephant in the room is how do you convert it, and you spend all these times and countless hours on the sites with little or no return on your investment. And while these number of subscribers are going up with the number of sites, it's all increasing. Most of the time people are on there playing games or chatting about what they had for dinner, but they don't understand how to convert it into business. Well, I believe that LinkedIn is the answer. Okay. Now, I've dedicated countless hours to understanding and implementing LinkedIn strategies, not only to grow my network, but my net worth as well. Okay. And it doesn't matter whether people are a business owner, an industry professional, an entrepreneur, or simply a motivated individual, you can no longer afford to ignore LinkedIn as a potential site to help you. All right, it is the #1 social media site for business. And while Facebook and Twitter have grown exponentially over time, LinkedIn has quietly crept up behind them and has become the third fastest growing site and largest site with over, now that slide is old, I need to change that, it's up over 240 million users, and there's 2 people coming on every second. Okay, and they haven't even really opened China yet. All right, now LinkedIn is equal to a higher quality of membership and interaction. Okay, every Fortune 500 company is represented there, and while 25 to 29% of people are considered to be the major decision makers for their company or their business, close to half of the people on LinkedIn are considered to be those types of people. It has a higher than average per household income and a higher than average college education level. Bottom line is it's a higher caliber of individuals who are networking for results. You get to deal straight with the key decision makers. And so who am I and why am I telling you this? Well, like I said, my name is Tom Signorello. I go by Thomas Signorello, and I am a personal development and mentoring coach. I'm a sought-after speaker and public speaker and networking coach and mentor. I've been recognized by companies on stage and been able to take great trips and network with some really cool folks and have a lot of fun along while I'm doing it. Take private trips all around the world, been able to fly on private jets and network with some great folks. This is a picture of my wife up in the top right-hand corner at the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas, and some great folks. You may recognize Ben Stone and Jasmine Trias. Jasmine finished third in American Idol a couple of years ago, and Ben is a sought-after magician. He actually performed for the Queen of England, so I got a great chance to hang out with her. Both of them. But I teach folks, you don't have to be some kind of Jedi or guru or cosmic commander to be able to use social media effectively. You just got to be able to work a little bit and work your tail off and have a little bit of fun while you do it. And I also like to tell folks, you got to have a strong reason why you do anything. Well, for me, my why is my family. My beautiful wife, Hadley, and our 3 beautiful children, my son and daughter, Kaylee and Alex. They are 15 and 9. They live in North Carolina with my ex-wife and my daughter, Erin, who lives with us. I'm a very, very fortunate man because I stay focused on why I do anything. It's to take care of them, to make sure that they've got a great life in front of them. Okay, but it's not just about me. All right, it's about helping other people. These are just some of the folks that I've helped over time through LinkedIn and understanding how to be able to do things. These folks went in and wrote testimonials and recommendations. And what I recommend that, these strategies that I teach and coach is not LinkedIn for dummies. This is advanced networking strategies for people who are looking to optimize their experience and get the most out of the LinkedIn platform. It's for serious influencers who are looking for serious results. So if you want to get more leads, more sales, more PR, or more people attending your live events, sell more products, or build a subscriber list, you can no longer afford to ignore LinkedIn because it has the power to help you. Okay? Now this is your opportunity to go ahead and understand how to use LinkedIn, build and grow your live event business, maybe get your dream job, build a database and a list, to be able to get more traffic going to a website. I encourage you to go ahead and write down my email address. It's right up there highlighted, tssea@gmail.com, tssea@gmail.com. Please send me a connection request, and I'll be glad to go ahead and accept it, and I'm looking forward to getting to know you. I teach people to use a program that I recommend to folks, Linked Influence. I'm not going to get into any sale, but there's ways you can go ahead and order that if you're interested at 321linkedin.com. Okay? And an old Cherokee once told his grandson, "My son, there is a battle that lies between 2 wolves, and it's inside of all of us. One is evil, it's anger, jealousy, greed, resentment, inferiority, lies, and ego. And the other one is good: joy, peace, love, hope, humility, kindness, empathy, etc." And the boy thought about it and asked his grandfather, "Well, grandfather, which wolf wins?" And the old man quietly replied, "The one that you feed." So even though we only had a short little presentation today, I hope you were fed today with the knowledge and the experience here of how LinkedIn can help not only take you fishing, but actually go fishing for a lifetime. Ian, that's our presentation. And like I said, I had a free gift for folks who stuck around at the end of the presentation. I'm going to go ahead and jump out of this. Where is my program? And let me see where. Let me go over here to 321twitter.com. If you write down this website, 321twitter.com, you can simply go on in there, and I'm going to give a free ebook today, not on LinkedIn, but on Twitter. I actually utilize what I learned from this book called Twixplode. I learned how to be able to take people and move them from Twitter on over to LinkedIn. So if you think about it, if you could learn from a book like this how to go targeting people that are in your demographic group on Twitter and gently move them over to your personal branding page, that's again a buy signal. This is how I'm using Twitter to expand all over the globe and to be able to add people into my LinkedIn database. So why don't I do this? Why don't I unmute the lines? I see that we're right at the 7:30 mark. And let me go ahead and unmute the lines. Ian, are you there? Do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions at the moment because we'll talk later, but I think if anybody else has got some questions, either speak up or type a message.
Yeah, all the lines are unmuted, so if you have a question, feel free to go ahead and speak up.
I haven't got a question, Tom, but I think it was a very good presentation, and it certainly gives a lot more perspective to the potential of social media.
Well, thank you. I appreciate those kind words. And who was that speaking? I didn't have the chat window open.
That's Bill. Bill Warren.
Oh, wonderful, Bill. What did you like best about the presentation?
I think just the information around the potential to integrate all those different social media platforms.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And do you currently have a LinkedIn profile, and are you using it effectively to grow your business?
Yeah, I do. I was actually, while I was listening to your presentation, I sent you a LinkedIn request, which actually came up on your view as you were talking to people.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you. I'll go and accept that later on, and I'm looking forward to getting to know you. Let me ask you real quickly, Bill, because I want to respect everybody's time. I know that we've only got a couple of minutes, but right now, have you been utilizing a lot of that similar strategies of having coffee meetings or virtual coffees with people that you meet on LinkedIn?
Not as much as I should. I'm actually new to some of these social media platforms, so I'm sort of experimenting a little bit at the moment. But I've got a blog and I've got a website and I'm using LinkedIn and I've got a Facebook account. So I'm just working on content and ways to just streamline those interactions.
Sure. And are you seeing that when I talk about it, when you see somebody liking or making a comment underneath your post, it's actually a buy signal that they want to take your friendship to the next level, and then it's just simply picking up the phone and asking them if they'd like to have a coffee or a virtual chat?
Yep, absolutely, absolutely.
Wonderful. Well, I hope that you'll pick up the phone and call some folks and start having success with whatever type of business you have, and hopefully you gain some knowledge here today.
Thanks, Tom.
All right, Bill, thanks again. And anybody else before we sign off? Any other questions?
It's Elizabeth here. Not really a question. I just want to say thank you very much. This has been a really good reminder, I think, not just for me, but a lot of other people, to go and recheck your LinkedIn profile, because you have some really, really good pointers there. Even having used for quite some time, I'm sure it could do a bit of freshening up, taking your tips in mind there.
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. I appreciate your kind words, and thank you for being here. And if there's any other questions, we'll go ahead and take them. But Ian, I want to say thank you very much for your friendship. I've known you for, goodness, it's probably going on 4 years now, and we've built a wonderful, loving, and kind friendship. Our wives are friends. We hang out together whenever you guys are in the States. I'm looking forward to getting down to Australia and spending time with you guys down there. But folks, Ian, I can tell you with 100% confidence, I don't know how well you know the man, but I absolutely adore him and his wife. I think they're tremendous leaders and brilliant business minds. So, Ian, thank you very much. I couldn't thank you enough for giving me a stage to be able to present internationally.
Thanks, Tom, for those kind words. Totally unexpected, but really appreciated. So unless anybody's got any more questions, we might finish up. And on behalf of everybody here in Australia and anybody that's in the US listening, I think that was a brilliant introduction to LinkedIn and a few little tips that we probably haven't all heard. I know I'm already using a lot of those sort of things. I did pick up a few things from you to say, Tom, and I'm sure that we may even do another 1 or 2 webinars for everybody and so forth. And I'd strongly suggest that you actually connect with Tom on LinkedIn and create a relationship with him, because I know you get a lot of value from Tom, and Tom will get value from you. So on behalf of everybody here in Australia, thanks so much, Tom. It's really, really appreciated. Thanks, mate.
Thank you again, Ian. Thank you, everyone. You all have a good night, and we'll talk to you soon.